On.
I'm just finishing my 20th book. For the last 10 years, I've been involved only in writing about cutting-edge health, non-pharmaceutical health if necessary. I'm not anti-pharmaceutical, but only resort to Western medicine when absolutely necessary. In any other instance, I always look for an alternative, a natural way, a non-drug way to heal or alleviate whatever condition I'm experiencing. 5 years ago, I met David Schmidt, the founder of LifeWave.
Okay, guys. Welcome, Joe Anthony, Wendy Rich. We are live. We are broadcasting to you. We're broadcasting to all four corners of the earth, although probably mostly U.S.-based people are tuning in. If you're watching this on YouTube or on any of the Facebook pages that we have and groups that we to see you, as always, thank you for can you hear me okay?
I hear you perfect.
Awesome. Okay, we're just checking our sound, guys, because sometimes it just goes into some crazy little tunnel and you can't even, it doesn't even tell you, you know, that you're not recording, or just want to make sure. So anyhow, guys, today we have something that we're dealing with that Wendy and I are really passionate about, and that is helping people to understand the brain, the mind, and how wearing patches really can affect those parts of our bodies. So we're going to just take a two-part, Wendy and I, right? We're going to do like part one today, and then we'll do the other part, because there's so much information, guys. We don't want to like overwhelm, and you know, just kind of take it in little bite-sized steps, right? Or
that's right.
You know, so Wendy, maybe you could start us off.
It's gonna be snack size.
Yeah, right. Little snack sizes, you know, like baby bites, right?
Yeah.
So maybe you could start us off, Wendy, with what we're, you know, reviewing today and some of the cool things about it, if you want to, you know, talking about the stimulus response mechanism of the mind. So it has to do with the mind and what stem cell patches and how they benefit and help. So why don't you kind of start us off if you'd like.
You know, it's kind of hard to wrap so much information up into a little Scooby snack, but we're basically talking about frequency, and you know, our bodies put off frequency. We need things to give us more frequency or more energy. You know, it's like, for an example of how frequency works, like say a human that's standing, they're a standing human. It takes like 7.5 hertz of frequency, and then somebody sitting is 4.6. And then, like, if you look at it in a different way, the food we eat can give us different frequencies. Vitamin C has a frequency. Magnesium has a frequency. Everything in the environment that we touch and smell and see has a frequency. What we think about puts off a frequency. Like if we think about negative things, we become tired, and it's a real physical thing. We become tired and even more hungry because our body, we're putting off so much energy, and it's not like a weird energy. It's just real literal energy. Our body, it takes more energy to deal with negative emotions than it does the happy emotions, because the happy emotions actually create more energy.
That's a great point. Let me throw in this thought too while you're on that thought. So it's interesting that discharge or discharging energy, our bodies discharge energy, and I was kind of wondering how this would work, but all of us have experienced this, and this is what's so cool, is that most of the energy that we run on is mostly obtained from the food we eat, right? So did you ever notice when you were a kid, like I remember my friend used to give me candy, like he used to steal money from his mother, buy a bunch of candy, and then just hand it out to us kids, you know, just like a close circle of friends in like the 5th grade, you know, 5th grade, 6th grade, whatever. But that's when I remember this kid, you know, was our friend, because he would come to school every day with candy. And what happens when kids eat candy? What's the natural result, right?
Well, you get like a boost of energy, but it's not a good, healthy energy because it leaves you feeling tired afterwards.
Now, here's something that, okay, but that point, stay on that point. So what part of the body uses the food, converts it into energy? Mostly it's the brain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually was reading something that said it's mostly the brain. The brain takes more of the energy from our food than our bodies.
Body,
or
right.
it needs more of it than our body does. Yeah.
Than our body does. So, people that think, oh, like my body, I need more for stamina, for this or for that. It's the brain. So if the brain is not getting enough energy, then everything else is going to lack. Everything else is going to go low, and the frequency and what we're talking about, guys. So that sort of is what Wendy was saying about different, like vitamin C, magnesium, and these different things. And that's where the patches come in. So what one patch would we want to talk about that maybe does give energy, that is almost, at least when I first put it on the first time, I know there's a couple patches that maybe you can talk about, one or both, that are specifically helping to increase energy or enhance energy.
Well, like you said, there's a few of them. I think that the X39 is the main one for that.
Agree. I agree. X39, totally agree for.
I have mine on the back of my neck today, but I have another one right here.
Now, is that something that you're doing just to alternate? Like you used to wear it on your wrist, now you alternate?
Just to alternate. I wear it different places. I have some like little bit of neck issues, and wherever you have actually an issue with a joint or nerve or whatever, you can put it right on that spot too. So that's a good spot for me for that reason.
Right. Now, here's something that we are going to tie in, guys, that you're going to love. Okay, so light. How does light therapy work, and how does light come into the mix here when we're talking about food? So the food that we eat started its journey as light. You guessed it, guys. Imagine that, right? Each component of that food emits a frequency. This is powerful, guys, because once you understand, like people say, you are what you eat, right?
Very true.
And that's why we're so passionate about this, because the more we understand, the more you understand, it can change your whole body's frequency, like where you're vibrating at.
It does, and if you think, you can look it up if people want to, that like the different foods you eat have higher and lower frequencies. Like I looked up, like berries and fruits and sprouts, beans and nuts and seeds, all those kind of things that are good for you. Those actually have the higher frequency. So if you want more energy, you need to be putting the higher energy foods in your system.
Because of the frequency and how they're made, right? That's a great
exactly. Thing. They are higher frequency food. Yeah.
Yeah. So all food is made with light, right?
Mm-hmm.
Almost everything on this earth is grown and made, with light. So then what you said is really interesting. Now here's something that's going to blow your mind, guys. Okay, because Wendy and I were looking at this information, and this is really something phenomenal. But think of this, right? Anytime we think of happy times, like something that's pleasure, like we were doing something that made us feel happy, that was pleasurable, you have lots of energy to think with, as these happy memories donate energy. So like what you were saying earlier, Wendy, about like negative, it depletes us of the energy, of that energy.
Yeah, they do.
Right? Those negative memories, those negative thoughts, it depletes us. Like people that just want to stay in bed sometimes, or they just get so depressed, or they get so tired, so sleepy, they just, oh man, I just don't feel like doing anything
because
today.
It's proven that those thoughts and the effect that they have on your body they actually take those that frequency out of us. It takes that energy away from us, and then we turn around. That's why we get more hungry when we're depressed and have these bad thoughts, because our body knows, I need more energy. I need more energy because I'm getting rid of, and so the you are, you don't feel like you need to eat as much. And it's just,
Yeah.
and that's why.
So that's why people blow up. And this is really interesting, guys. And, I'm not trying to condescend to anybody that's overweight or obese or that has issues, but here is what Wendy just said is really interesting, right? So when you think consciously about bad times, like painful moments in your life, you soon run out of energy, you tire and want to sleep or want to eat more calories to compensate for the loss of energy. That is
Yep.
where people start to put on weight. They start to gain weight because they're trying to compensate and thinking, oh, I have to eat more, and not wanting to do any activity because you feel like sleeping. So you sleep and eat, sleep and eat. What happens? You blow up, into a whale or something, like that, right? So what we're really seeing, guys, is the mind, the frequency, the thoughts, that is at the core of a lot of what is happening. And people are compensating, looking for solutions in other places when it's really just the brain changing the frequency. And that's where the patches come in.
Yeah. And a lot of people actually try to spend their time doing other things like distractions to get their mind off of those negative thoughts. But that in itself actually doesn't really work either, because then they find themselves addicted to these things that they either can't afford or can't afford, and the same issue is still there. It doesn't make them go away. It just is a distraction.
Right. Here's an interesting thought. What you just said is so true. And I'm just kind of quoting from this article, but it says that for the time only distracted but not disconnected from the subconscious mind, watching or playing sports, going on holidays, shopping, reading a book, or eating can be experienced as pleasurable and are therefore experienced as relaxing. Because they are pleasurable, they're also potentially addictive. People spend their last dollars and more to buy more and more pleasure. And this is a trap. And this is what we're talking about, guys. So what we're really seeing is our society, especially, in this culture, maybe different from other parts of the world, where people don't have all the luxuries that we have and all the amenities and conveniences. But that's really what keeps people distracted from what is most important, from what really is giving them true happiness. Because, you buy a new house, a new car, new clothes, you get all these new things, but you're not really satisfying the part that keeps you unhappy, because happiness is not external, right? And that is really what's so amazing, is that we are thinking that we're bringing more, happiness and fulfillment. And so we have to have a bigger purpose. And that's one of the things that the patches help, is that they change the frequencies, that they change where we're vibrating, like, just by changing the energy activation and so forth. I think, Wendy, you're frozen. I think you are. I don't know if I look frozen to you, but you haven't moved in like the last 45 seconds. Yeah. Oh, okay. So let me just let her know. Looks like you got disconnected. Okay, yeah, she got disconnected. Okay. Yeah, it looks like we had a little bit of difficulty today. So we're going to go ahead and pause here, and we'll continue with part 2 tomorrow, guys. So we're going to go out with my favorite song, and then we're going to continue with part 2 tomorrow, and hopefully you guys will have an awesome rest of your day. I wanna be forever young. Do you really wanna live forever?
Some are a melody and some other beat. Sooner or later it will all be gone. Why don't they stay young?